Hi friends, welcome back to Fenny for the Soul. Today, as you might guess, it's a music story. So I am bringing you face to face with the Vinesh and Darryl, whom I call the barefoot event managers in Goa. So they run this wonderful the live music project for over 10 years, giving us tremendous musical joy. And they'll tell us about their journey. They'll also tell us about Artescape, the kind of revolutionary artist village that they began on the beaches of Goa. So sit back and enjoy this show. So good morning, guys. Lovely to catch both of you together. You all started Artescape in 2009. So what was the objective, and did you all achieve your goals?
Yeah, and we met in 2008 at the studio in Bombay. So it's to run a studio called Design Factory, and made mad about designing everything. And that's where we met, and we started discussing about our dreams and what can designers play a role in terms of social change. That was the beginning of our discussion. We had humongous amount of discussions, and we landed up with the thought process about how can design for social change was basically the thought process of starting a project called the Inspire project. And from there, we were basically looking at starting like an art commune, and we had to narrow down to something as a space, because we were looking for land and looking for spaces, and also it was a larger project. So we said we need to start a pilot, and that's where the birth of Artescape as an idea. We said that let's start with a space, and in 2008 we travelled around Goa from north to south. We went to every single beach, and we landed up in this beautiful Wadi beach in South Goa, Darryl, and we stayed on New Year over there, and it was it. And that was this magical land of 1 acre, and that was the beginning, saying that hey, let's do something in this space.
How nice. And I've seen some videos and some photographs of Artescape. So can you explain a little about that commune? I mean, what was it supposed to be? What did it do in those years, in the first 3, 4, 5 years?
I think there was a transition. So the idea was to have a space. And the reason why Artescape is because when we were in Bombay, we were thinking that a space is a perfect place to experiment your ideas, rather than depending on somebody else's space. So once you have your own space, and the basic objective was it's an art space, so across art disciplines, space where people can live, come, practice, experiment, and that was the basic the premise of it. And a lot of things evolved once we were in that space.
There was a remunerative model. I mean, was there commerce?
Yes.
So commerce was part of it.
Yeah. So we
started off from no business model.
Yeah.
And saying let's do what we really want to do, and then evolve from there. So that was a process.
So basically, the space was an acre land, 12 bamboo cottages. We don't come from the hospitality industry. We had a restaurant. So you had rooms, you had a restaurant space, you had inside a yoga shala, a multi-purpose space, and slowly we started basically doing workshops. Basically the whole experience of people can come and experience, different kinds of creative forms in a resort format. So if you're talking about the commerce, accommodation, people would come and stay. Not that they had to participate in a workshop. And the core of it was it's back to basics. So that was a very strong ideology which we wanted to keep. Like, let's keep it back to basics. No air conditioning, no television in the rooms, sustainable place.
So the back to basics thing happened over there.
Yeah.
It's not that we thought that it should be, because the space was like that. We said
wonderful.
And the coming back to the first question is that basically when we met, we discussed what's our dream project.
Yeah.
What's our dream? What do we really want to do eventually? And that's when you said that when the dreams connected. And saying that let's have a space, create like a commune kind of a space where a lot of interaction, a lot of inspiration can happen. That's why eventually the name also, a space that can inspire yourself and anybody else who comes to you.
How many years did you all run it? And
It was
4 years.
4 years, 2009 to 2013. And the journey was, it just kept evolving every year. So we started off without having an understanding of running a space, and then it started growing in terms of, also it's the whole thought process about learn by doing. So we started understanding how does hospitality work, how does a restaurant work, and that just happened all on hands-on kind of a process.
but why did you all close it then? What was the reason?
So basically, it was that we needed a space which ran throughout the year. This was a seasonal space, so that was one.
That was the main
kind of an issue.
because shutting, restarting is a huge amount of gap plus
Energy,
reinvestment.
time, goes into closing and opening again.
Then 2013 TLMP happened. That is the live music project. So how was that conceived? And tell us a little about the TLMP journey.
So the music scene started at Artescape as part of one discipline of art, which was a regular, like a weekly activity where we focused on Indian classical music. So we had a calendar for the whole week, which we repeated every week, but the performances were different.
Yeah, so 2010 is at Artescape we started this entire music scene. We started with a jam scene actually, one night of a jam scene, and then we just started building up a calendar on a weekly basis. So Monday we had Indian classical music, Tuesday chef special, Wednesday we had acoustic nights, Thursday we introduced open mics and inspired talks, Friday we had a rock and roll, Saturday we had international bands, Sunday we had film screenings. So
Wow.
basically that was the model, and then when Artescape as a space shut in 2013, we decided to launch a separate music vertical, which became Live Music Project. So which was launched on May 18th on 2013 and at Baywatch Resort. So which we started a space called Live Lounge, and we officially launched Live Music Project, which focuses completely on music and cuts across all genres of music. So that was the key thought process of Live Music Project, that it's not just specifically about a genre but about interesting content from Goa, from around the country, around the world, which you bring into Goa and expose people to this kind of great music, sounds and lot of original content.
So Vinesh and Darryl, tell us a little about the highlights of the Goa International Jazz Festival, because that was one, like almost like a flagship for TLMP.
Right, so being producing all this music for 4 years, and once we set up the dedicated vertical of TLMP, we wanted to basically bring there used to be the Jazz Yatra that used to happen in Goa for a few years. Then there was a long break, I think it was about 15-20 years.
Yeah.
So we said let's bring that scene back. And also because there's a huge connect of jazz with Goa. All the musicians who played all over India were
Jazz,
mainly
musicians from Goa.
musicians from Goa. So
And
that was the main.
So the festival we started at 2013 at Baywatch, and also it was interesting at Baywatch because a lot of the historical jazz festival used to happen in hotels, with a pool in the center and rooms around. So which actually was more of a nostalgia kind of bringing back the festival. And so we ran it for 2 years over there at Baywatch, and it started growing. And then we wanted to scale it up. So we decided to move it to a larger venue, which also more accessible to people from the north also of Goa. So that's why we moved it to Stonewater Iyer Resort in 2015. And the jazz festival was basically not a traditional jazz festival, but it was focusing on the new sounds of jazz. So also reaching out to a new audience, not only depending on the older audience. And then bands wanted to just come and play. So we went full board around 2015. 3-day festival, about 11 bands from 11 countries, and went into the entire sponsorship mode to make it happen. It was a great festival. Sponsorship backfired. It just created a buzz in terms of becoming the biggest jazz festival in the country, and then we had to go back to the drawing board. The bands which came in, absolutely incredible from each country, representing culture in terms of kind of sounds, and that was the high point of just becoming a scene in India. That Goa Jazz Festival. That.
So my question is that I'm coming to sponsorship. Is it because you all had trouble with sponsors that you had to think of selling the brand? Finally, you all sold the brand.
Absolutely.
So was that the reason? Because it became unsustainable for you personally?
And that was the only way forward. Because, when we didn't get those sponsors that we needed, we had to make the festival happening. We had to borrow money from friends, family,
credit cards.
So Darryl, you were just saying that you all sold the brand because you have to recover your monies. You all were in the red possibly with that 2015 big festival. So you all sold the brand. Was it in 2016 that you sold it?
Yeah.
2016. So my question immediately is finding sponsors the biggest challenge for music event management?
So basically, coming back to that part is that there was a lot of support. So I don't know whether we got that. So in terms of what Emma brought into the kitty was the embassy support. Okay. People's support was there. And one of the reasons we had to, eventually it got sold, but the idea was to go and partner with somebody.
And grow the festival.
So, and we got a proposal saying that, okay, we would like to take it forward. So we said, okay, great. And that made it possible to, move forward without carrying that baggage of
paying off. Yeah, but sponsorship, it's a challenge. It's a tough one.
So your last big event, the moving big band from Sweden, was received very well. 2 wonderful shows in Goa. So any more like that in the offing? Any more such events like the Swedish band?
Yeah, the orchestra format, yes. I think this was the 19-piece orchestra with a huge brass section. In October, November, I think there's something already lined up in the pipeline.
Wow.
But yes, that's... And now actually, as TLMP, we want to move to other cities in terms of programming and producing events in Bombay, Pune and Bangalore with another partner.
So I'm going to come to a final question, and that is your barefoot philosophy. Now the camera can see your bare feet. So please tell us, because after the famous MF Hussain, you two are the guys who are roaming around bare feet. Barefoot, sorry.
So actually, when it started, it didn't start with any kind of intent, and it was at Artescape. So, sand. More comfortable walking in sand without shoes than with shoes and stuff. So we just started off there, and then it just continued. And then I think individually it did different things for me and probably for him.
And it was just we never thought about that okay, now we are barefoot. It just happened because of that space, and we just forgot about footwear. And it's just that you're connected to the earth. I think that's a basic kind of not a philosophy, like a philosophy kind of a thing, but traditionally it's been that, and then you don't need to think about footwear anymore. It just gives you that freedom to just
And more comfortable.
walk in anywhere without the footwear.
Think of
But the poor companies, they are all complaining. Their balance sheets are looking bad. The shoe companies, they're missing out on too many sets of shoes from you guys. But one thing, on a serious note, when you walk into a corporate office bare feet, and you're meeting corporate executives for sponsorship, what is it? Is this a barrier? This you being bare feet? A barefoot?
Actually,
no idea. I mean, they always ask, so they say that why did you leave your footwear
footwear outside.
So it kind of,
It becomes like a joke. We said that that's a respect which you're giving you guys.
Thank you so much, both of you. All the best.
Thanks
Thank
very
you,
much.
Rahul. Thank you.